recording. We have Niyatii with us, and Niyatii is an enthusiastic, passionate, and renowned sexuality educator, counselor, author, and an intimacy coach. For some reason, I like that designation, intimacy coach, who she believes in educating children and adults on sex education so they know themselves, empowering them so that they can take informed decisions, and eradicating the hesitation and taboos that are around sexuality. Niyatii is a mother of two. She is the wife of a very supportive husband. We need supportive husbands when it comes to such offbeat professions, for sure, and a daughter of liberal and very loving parents. She is the author of 2 books, and she is also a TEDx speaker. In the past 10 years of her career, Niyatii has been fortunate to have visited 55 plus schools. She has conducted 350 plus workshops, touched more than 18,000 families, and empowered more than 55,000 children. Niyatii helps parents and teachers talk about sexuality to their children without feeling awkward and without any prior knowledge, with ease, through her online courses and her books. She is certified in sex education, and she's a music lover and a dance enthusiast. She also loves gardening and finds her creative self in everything that she does. So that was a short introduction to such a big personality. So welcome, Niyatii, and I'm so glad that you agreed to do this. Thank you very much.
No, thank you, Priya. Not only that you've adjusted to my requirements and timings, a big thank you for that. I definitely don't want to lose an opportunity to talk to anybody on a topic of sexuality because it's so less spoken. So thank you so much, one, for having me here, and two, for adjusting with my timings. Thank you.
No problem. Absolutely. Great. So Niyatii, my first question to you, we are here to talk about women and sexuality. And we shall start like decade by decade. So beginning with our teenage and our 20s, there are a lot of young women who have, the younger generation, in fact, is looking at exploring possible matches on dating apps like Bumble or Tinder. What could be your advice to younger women who are going out on these blind dates without really knowing the person they are going out with, as a mother or as a cool aunt or as a sex educator? What is that advice that you would give to Gen Z if they are going to be going out and meeting the boys out there?
All right. So lovely. I like the way you have categorized because it really makes a lot of sense, and started with the younger ones. So my message would be, one, please understand how your body works when it comes to sexual relationships. How does your reproductive system respond to it? What goes on within us? So knowing of what you are getting into, that is very important. Why? One, because you have to understand that at a young age, we operate more out of the feeling space. So in our brain, there is a space where feelings are controlled, and that is the space we operate from. So anything that makes us feel loved, wanted, attracted, those kind of things, we might not think it through, and we may feel we are confident once we know a lot about sex and sexuality, and we might go in for it. Again, this is not true for everybody. But if you are in that space, who are looking into having a relationship, and especially a sexual one, just keep in mind the two threats that most of us are afraid of or have fear about. One is unwanted pregnancy, and second is unwanted infections, because this can really put your life into a big a problem which you may not be aware of or ready for. So even if you don't know somebody, I would say study the person, not only when they are with you personally, but when they are with outsiders. So knowing a little bit through social media, having some common friends, knowing about that person, again, not only how they are with you, because that can be manipulated, but how they are outside to outsiders, to their friends and family is very, very important. So don't undervalue yourself that if somebody is speaking nicely to you, so chalo, let's go with that person because that person makes me feel loved. Be a little smarter than that. Make sure who you are going out with, know your body, know yourself, know your menstrual cycle, see whether you are in that ovulation period or not. There are ample experts to help you out. Have a small chat with somebody before going out with anyone. These are a few things I would like to tell you. When you are in love with somebody or you feel that I can do anything for this person, there could be some of them who might tell you to use contraceptives or not use contraceptives. That is also one of the very important point that I would like to point out. I-pill is not a contraceptive. It is an emergency pill. People say, don't worry, let's not use anything. Baad mein I-pill le lenge. It doesn't work like that. Any young girl younger to 24 years, if you're having I-pill, your reproductive system can be damaged. So please be aware about these things. If your partner does not believe in contraceptives, it is plain simple, they do not believe in respecting you. If you are a girl and if you can get pregnant and if somebody is not caring about that, that person should not be with you. So these are a few things I would like to point out as a message, that if you are going into a sexual relationships, there are some 7, 8, 10 things that you should be aware about. Also, one last thing, wherever you go, how much ever you may trust your partner to be, but if it is new for you, all right, if this relationship is new, please be aware of your environment, look out for cameras, look out for the food that you are consuming. All these things are on a rampant, and it's not worth going through feeling loved for this small activity, which can become a big issue in your life ahead. So be a little smarter, when you are going out with someone.
Thank you so much, Niyatii, for saying that, because girls need to listen to this, especially like now when I advise girls of the younger generation. I want them to listen to me. But if somebody would have told me the same thing when I was 20, I would probably, not listen to them, because that rebellious blood runs within you. And it is the thing that you said about men respecting women is so important, because it makes no sense to be with anybody who doesn't respect you. So thank you for saying that.
In fact, Priya, I would have said the same thing for the men also, because it is both ways. But since we are in Women's Week, I am going to focus particularly on the women in this talk at least.
All right. Then moving on to maybe late 20s or 30s or even 40s. We all watch porn, or we all have watched porn at some point, and this industry, in a way prescribes what we should or should not be doing in between the sheets. These articles that we read, or the content on social media, it somewhere supervises, or it somewhere uh, makes us do very unrealistic things. How do we unplug ourselves from these unrealistic standards and just explore a natural way of cultivating intimacy with our partners?
So the question you've asked me, no, Priya, has a very deep-rooted answer. So it is a longer process than somebody telling you don't watch porn. It doesn't work like that. In spite of knowing, we are still watching it, right? So one, in spite of knowing that this is not true, this is not how real life is, but how porn affects our psychology is something we need to be a little aware about. So every time, imagine if I'm giving you a dairy milk all the time I meet you. Someday you'll be like, kuch to alag leke aao. Get something different. If I give my bachas roti every day, one day they're going to tell me, kuch to alag de do, kuch to spicy de do. So our psychology is in a way, and especially with sexual energy, that we need something higher, bigger, intensive, a little more intense. So even if we start by saying, no, I am only looking to stimulate myself, but do you understand what a big problem that can be in your relationship with your partner? Because if you need an outside stimuli, then what is your partner there for? If you can't feel the intimacy, if you can't feel the attraction that your partner is with you, then there is some problem in that relationship. You need to start looking into it. Either fix it or you do what you need to do. So one is that. While you're watching porn, please remember you will want to see a little more intense stuff or different stuff after a while. So if you think that no, I am not going to be regular, you might just become one, because something like this cannot just be ignored if it's so handy for you and you are enjoying it. So be aware of your actions and be aware of how deep you're getting into it. There could be other reasons for watching porn, like my partner does not believe in all the fantasies I have, so at least I'll watch porn and feel the satisfaction, whatever level I get it. But then again, my request to you would be fix it or do what you need to do. So fixing it also has a lot of options. So that is why I'm not pinpointing to anything particular. But it could be talking to your partner. It could be taking some therapies. It could be digging into yourself. Why do I need all this? So sexual energy is not as simple as having a 5-minute sexual activity. It's very, very deep rooted. It has a lot to do with your biology, with your psychology. And it's way, way intense than we actually see it as. People say it's fun. So what? It's just sex. Yes, it could be to that level till a while. But after that, it's going to affect you. And that is what you need to be aware about. So pornography, avoid it. Start learning of how to attract your partner to you and how can you feel attracted to your partner. So talk. Let them know that I need something more, or I would love it if you would do this to me, or you would wear such things, or let's play this, or whatever excites you. So talk to your partner about how your attraction can stay in place. And so there could be an excitement phase, but then there is a lot of plateau time in our relationship. So during this plateau time, if it becomes monotonous, then it's going to go down. So keep going up and down, keep going up and down, try and maintain that rhythm. Sometimes go so high that it's okay to come down a little and again take the high. So that can only happen not by articles, because articles are written only by talking to 4-5 people. You might be the 400th person who might have a 450th idea. So just go with talking to one another and respecting what your partner is telling you to do. So expecting is one thing, but if you're not ready to give, you can't expect either. So let your partner tell you what you should be doing, and you tell your partner what they should be doing to keep that spark alive.
Yeah, because I think with the younger generation, it's become, there are all shortcuts, even when, like, I keep telling my younger sisters that don't let him have you so easy. Let him earn you. Let him, like, maybe take you out for a dance or a date, or maybe cook food together, or, just don't make it all about just intimacy. We used to write letters, or exchange these small gifts, and I don't see that anymore. So I think intimacy for each couple works very differently, and they should definitely take their time to explore it.
Priya, intimacy is not different for every couple. Intimacy is different for every person. So even a couple, the two partners will have different ways of feeling intimate. One might want physical touch, the other might just want to spend time and not even touch the other partner. So when there are two different demands or two different expectations, that is where the communication helps. So while you very well, very brilliantly pointed out the younger generation, I would want to make a small point here. The younger generation also has a different physiology that goes on within them. Their body responds differently. Their body functions a little differently than the older women. So even the early 20s or the girls in 20s will not be as sexually active as the 30s would be. So 30s is said and observed and learned that is the time when the women are most active. So even the younger ones, when we say younger ones, but they are not the ones, who probably are seeking out so much. They do have their fears, and it's a true fact. As much as we would like to believe that younger generation is very bold and they are all ready, they are not. They are thinking, they are scared, they are understanding what they are getting into, and not everybody is comfortable getting into a sexual relationship, and that still is on the majority of the girls. But there is a small change. There is more and more girls who are becoming comfortable with sexual activities. The younger ones, which are the early 20s, they do have a lot of hormonal spike, I would say, and that makes them, and it's new, right? Sexual activity is new, and anything that's new and it gives you pleasure, it is going to be something to sought after, to go after. So also, I would like to point out that we used to write letters, but now we have emails and WhatsApps. You can't blame them for having instant gratification, because that's the world we have introduced them to. So keeping that in mind, that they will want instant gratification, how can we as responsible, older, whether we are sisters or aunties or parents, how can we help them develop a little bit of patience, not maybe as much as I had or you have today, but a little more than what they have. So if we keep baby steps, we might be able to help them somewhere. And the best way to help them understand how important this topic is, or why we need to tread very carefully, is share stories. Whether it's somebody else's story or your own story, not to instill fear, but just to give them an idea of how intimacy can really be developed. Now, intimacy, again, we are saying intimacy as physical intimacy, but there could be emotional intimacy, as you were pointing out. Let them take you for a dance, let them spend quality time with you, let them compliment you. Don't be very easy, because once they know what to do with you, they've taught you, they've given it to you, they've made you feel loved, and then there is no returning back. It's difficult. So give them that space and an understanding of how to develop a relationship. And be aware of what environment you are also creating for them.
Yes, I think stories really help, and they're a good way, because then you're not judging them also for their actions, but at the same time you're subtly introducing them to new ways of doing things. So yes, I like stories. Okay, so Niyatii, my next question to you is, we have ignored the men completely actually. So this is for men as well as women. Are they different in terms of sexual energy, or I mean, how? And if they are different, then how are they different in terms of the sexual energy that they exude?
Yeah. So there are different things about sexual energy that we don't know of, or we don't very openly talk about. One is the intensity of the desire. So there are different ways, different level of sexual energy that people experience. Now, whether a man or a woman have different level of sexual energy, no. Anybody can have a lower libido, anybody can have a high libido. That is not different. What is different is how they feel aroused. So it is somewhere in the energy works. If anybody understands the energy works, we have 7 glands and 7 chakras, as we speak about. So the men, they are easily aroused because, one, they have been raised to own their sexual energy. You're a man, you're supposed to feel like that, you're supposed to behave like that, and they're allowed to feel like that, whether it's the society, in terms of media, or the older generation in the house, the way they talk about women, or the way they say, ye to, boys ka hak hai, boys will be boys. These are the kind of ways we indirectly raise them, that it's okay to wink, it's okay to flirt, it's okay to smile, it's okay to touch. All that is given to them. So there is a condition also that plays a big role in the way we both react to sexual energy. Another thing is, the women, our sexual energy starts from the space above our head, which is more spiritual, and then goes down to our genitals. For men, it starts from the genital and then it rises up to the spirituality part of it. Now, this is the difference we need to understand about each other. So your starting point is different. So when you understand that your starting point is different, now again, this is on a general note. So when your starting points are different, you'll have to come to a level where you both match. So if one is going to operate from the genital or the 7th chakra, and one is going to operate from the 1st or the 2nd chakra, you're not going to match, and there's going to be a lot of friction. A lot of not understanding, not feeling the intimacy, not feeling aroused with your partner, that will happen. So if you learn that my partner is more emotional, she or he believes in emotional intimacy, she will only get aroused if I say something to her, or if I touch her, or if I give her something, then do that. But get her and match your level of sexual arousal. If you think my partner only if I dress sexily or lingerie or create a very sexy environment, then do that. Sometimes all it takes is one wink and your partner is all ready to sit and spend that time with you. Do that. So understanding what your particularly partner wants or arouses them, that is what we need to understand. So again, there are many factors about a man and woman. On a lot of level, we are same, but on a lot of levels, we are different. So again, I can't say that, okay, men are easily aroused, which is true on a general platform, but there could be your partner who's also, a woman and easily aroused. So you can't sit down to think, हाँ generally तो women को time लगता है, तो my partner is also going to take time. She may not. So maybe you are a man who can probably have a sexual activity go on for almost 20 minutes, 25 minutes, but your female partner may just orgasm in like 5 minutes. So usually people say that women take more time to orgasm, but men don't. But it is true the other way around also. So with sexual energy, it is best to observe your own partner and to talk to them to come to that same level and then experience the best for the both of you.
And it is so beautiful that the heart chakra is something that is located exactly in between the Muladhara and the Sahasrara.
Yes.
And when you meet at the level of the heart, it like connects you at a very deeper, more inextricable level.
That is where you will feel the intimacy. That is where you will feel the love. I'm glad you understand that, Priya. I'm very glad that you pointed that out. So yes, you need to, that's why we say dil or dil milne chahiye. The heart should, meet. So thank you. Thank you for putting that point.
So now coming to the 30s and the 40s, I see a lot of my friends in sexless marriages, somewhere either they are bored or after 7 or 8 years of marriage, you just don't feel like it, or you just become so used to being around each other, especially during the lockdown. It's like everyone was around everyone all the time. So the spice probably disappears over time. So how do we reignite the spark? And it's a little sad that a lot of us, because we have access to social media and our past, the ghosts of our past through social media, you get bored and then you end up, or somebody ends up liking your picture, you end up chatting with them. So these things are quite rampant these days. So what is your take on infidelity? And then we will come to sex toys and all of that.
So Priya, your body, anybody's body is a body with organs and it has functions, right? So the brain understands certain actions, certain words, certain things, or environment which arouses you. If your partner is unable to provide that to you time and again, you will look for it somewhere else. Does that make it legal? No. Does that make it right? I don't know, because some people do feel that it's okay to want it from somebody else because one partner is not able to give it. So that is very personal, the right and the wrong, the moral of it. But if the partners constantly focus on one, giving the reasons for your partner to feel aroused and attracted to you, stay attracted to you, then you will not need to go out anywhere. Now, staying attracted does not always mean dressing up well and going for dancing and drinking and partying and all of that. It also means, are you growing internally as a human being? Are you somebody who believes in growing as a person? Are you working towards some achievements where your partner admires of who you are and what you do? Even if it means you're a great cook in the house, whether you're a man or a woman, but maybe a new dish and your partner feels excited and surprised, like, oh, wow, I did not know you could do that too. And that element of surprises again brings back the spark. So it is not about constantly feeling sexy. It is about admiration. It is about fondness. It is about falling in love with that person again and again because of one or the other reason. So to maintain your partner's interest is also our responsibility. And to constantly feed our partner with something that they will feel excited about is again our responsibility. So when both partners are looking into keeping the other partner interested, then they don't need to go anywhere else. Somebody looks for the other person only because you don't get it with your own partner. So keep that interest alive. And again, how will you know that? Observation and talking, right? And will one partner feel attracted to somebody else even if I am trying my best? Yes, because attraction is not something that is in anyone's control. All right. The same elements that is attracting your partner to you, if somebody else also has it, it is going to attract that partner for somebody else too. Now, what is in, like, if it's me, what I am attracted to my partner, that somebody else also may have it and will have it. So if I'm attracted to somebody else, that's natural. But what I do about that attraction is in my hands. So whether I move out of my marriage or out of my relationship and I indulge with somebody else, it's my call. It's a choice I make, and that is in my hands. But whether should I feel attracted or not is not in my hands. I may feel attracted to somebody else too. So be cool about somebody feeling attracted to somebody else. But yes, look into how that person acts on it. Now, that is where infidelity is. That's where I will say it comes, of how these two partners, like me and my partner, how we understand our relationship or our marriage. And then if somebody else is coming in, or how that person fits in or does not fit in is our choice. You're still on mute, Priya.
Yeah, thank you for that. And it's really important to put in that effort constantly.
Yes.
Marriage is effort, I guess, for every one of us. I mean, the initial 3 years, 2 or 3 years, you have the warranty, but then after that, you have to keep servicing it on your own. So I think
I
every
think it is more to do about what kind of a person I am and how interested I am to keep that interest alive. So if I see it as an effort, that means I don't want to do it.
yeah.
Then might as well don't do it from the beginning itself. Unfortunately, we have more arranged marriages than love marriages. We do not have culture where we are living with a partner before we commit with the legal papers and signatures. But if it is an effort to you, then don't do it. It's my earnest request. Only if it is coming out of a space where you want to do it, then your relationship will last long.
Okay. So coming to the next part of it, Niyatii, female sexuality is still finding a voice, with women entering a new era of enlightenment and fulfillment. And we have so many Netflix series showing that. And with orgasms fast shedding their taboo status, there are newer sex toys that have been designed by women for women. I mean, apart from allergies and STDs, like I was researching about this before we had this talk, and I was looking for, because we discussed earlier on the phone, I was looking for the cons of these sex toys. But apart from allergies and STDs, no one was talking about how wrong they are for us. Everybody was like, go out, grab that toy and go fulfill your fantasies or fuel your fantasies. So now we have gone till the extent of a toy called Lioness that collects data from your experiences and links it to your smartphone. It has become so clinical. And I think somewhere it's just like brushing our teeth, or it's just becoming very, very mechanical. And I think it has nothing to do with our feelings, or it might have nothing to do with our feelings after a certain point. It's just probably just unleashing ourselves and then going back to work or cleaning the bathroom. So what is your take on this?
Yeah. So, this is just another commercial gimmick, Priya. Everybody is looking for a product to sell. And the product, if it has to become a hit, it has to be solving somebody's problem. right? Or it has to be pleasure. Either it's for pleasure or it's for somebody going through pain. So now when we have recognized areas like, okay, women are becoming more and more independent, women are starting to take their own decisions, they are starting to spend on themselves. So this is one area we know women are not satisfied. So let's give them something to feel satisfied about. So let's advocate masturbation. Let's tell them, you don't need anybody, you just need my toy. But darlings, I still want a man. I still want another woman. Or I still want anybody who can make me feel loved, who I can experience intimacy with. Orgasm is just a part of it. It's just a very teeny mini part of it. But if I have to arouse myself by looking at somebody else or porn or fantasize constantly in my own head and then use your toy to achieve that orgasm, how shallow is that? Not that it's wrong, I will not call it wrong, because it has definitely given also one angle where women who did not know what orgasm meant or what it felt like, it did give them an opportunity to understand that, understand what a clitoral stimulation can be about, understand what orgasm can feel about, and then they have gone ahead to explain it to their partner and have a better life with them. So it has done some good at some places. But the way it's been marketed, that's where I have a problem with. So because you want sales, and I won't blame them, they are doing their business. But at the same time, we as a client or we as a customer, we need to know where we are putting our money. Do we need to replace a partner with this toy? No. Were toys ever used before? Of course. We have all the gharelu saman that we have used as toys, whether they were cucumbers or carrots or even the back of the brushes, So it's not like we've not used toys before. Just that now the market is creating with all these gimmicks, with vibrators and apps, and people are just falling in for something. As I said, we will always look for something more intense, something more different when it comes to sexual energy, and they're providing it to us. Now, whether we want it or we don't want it is in our hands. Whether can we take ideas from them and then do it with our partners is another thing.
Yeah, like if cucumbers could vibrate, I think nobody would have invested in these toys.
Or if our partner knew how to vibrate the cucumber, like they had the strength in their arms, nothing else. We don't want anything else.
All right. So my last question to you is about the OTT platforms, about how Netflix is stripping cultural taboos around sex to the extent of advocating infidelity if you are really unhappy in a marriage physically. So physically or emotionally even. What is your take on virtual sex outside marriage, and what would you advise women, because it is not easy for a woman to leave two kids and a husband and then just walk out of a marriage, but still there is a void that she feels. So what would your advice to women be who are still struggling to spice up things, or probably even women post pregnancy who don't feel like it and their partners are kind of pushing it too much on them and they just are not in the mood?
Yeah.
So how do we cope in such situations?
So, Priya, that is why I was saying in the beginning also that one, you need to know your physiology well. You need to know your biology. You need to know how your organs work and how they function. So, it is not true that after pregnancy, women don't want sex. They're just tired. Their attention is divided between her own health and her baby, the new baby that is there. So, it takes a couple of months for a woman to come back to normalcy, even emotionally, mentally, physically, and then all the tiredness that she has with the new baby. Considering that in today's times, most of the families are nuclear, we are alone, especially in the metro cities. And even if you are a joint family, there's a lot of other responsibilities that also play a role in a woman's life. So when a man comes back home and he's like, but I want it, what should the woman do? She can't give it. She's tired. She's mentally tired. She's physically tired. So that is where the man has to walk in and say, I am going to take charge to make sure that you feel relaxed and you feel aroused. Then you don't have to ask. It's just going to happen anyways. So when the man steps in and says, it's not your responsibility, I am taking it. I'm going to make you feel relaxed. I will make sure that you feel sexy about yourself. And she will be attracted to you like nobody else. she will automatically be aroused to wanting to be with you, because that's what she's longing the whole day anyways. She's longing for somebody to hold her. She's longing for somebody to say something nice to her. She's longing for that love. And when you're giving it to her, the obvious reaction will be she'll want to be with you. So it is as simple as that. It is nothing to do with toys leke aao, na bol rahi hai to kya kare, rekindle kare. No. It just take it on you that these few months when she's dealing with so many other things, I will make sure that she feels sexy about herself, and I will make sure that there is enough love and sex between us. So just take that onus.
I think we need a separate workshop on that.
But
For the men.
having said that, I will make one more sentence that if your partner is taking so much efforts, do not be that kind of a woman who will be like, don't you understand? We don't feel sexy. Keep yourself open, because this intimacy is going to help you to deal with all the rest of the things you're dealing in the daytime. Or otherwise, what I mean to say, it's not like sex can be done only in the night, but all the other things that dealing with the child, dealing with your physical self, dealing with your emotion, this sexual connection with your partner is going to heal you in many, many ways than you can even imagine. So do not let go of the sexual connection that you have, even when you don't feel like it. And the worst excuse that you give, that I have a headache and I don't feel like it, that is the time you must have sex, because it's going to let go of your headache and it's going to heal you out of there. So please don't say no to the sexual energy that is naturally given to you to heal you. So don't say no to that.
Wow, that is so beautifully put, Niyatii.
I'm glad it resonates.
Your sexual energy. And sometimes I also feel like whenever we do yoga or whenever we do meditation, you know, your kundalini is supposed to rise and it's supposed to pass through all your chakras. And I feel that when you have sex, it actually just zoop, it just goes up, and it's in a way going to enlighten you. Yeah, so I think it opens and clears out a lot of blockages
A lot.
along the different chakras.
It is way powerful than we understand it. It's way, way powerful.
Correct. And yeah, and maybe post-pregnancy, the bodies of women change, and women also need to understand that when a man is truly into you, it doesn't matter if you are big, small, whether you're sweaty or, you know, you just jump into it and let things take their own course, because we spend way too much time bothering about how am I looking, is my bra looking good, will this attract him, oh my god, there's a scar there, oh my god, I haven't shaved. So all these things, you know, that keeps playing in our head. So we somewhere need to let that go and just jump right in.
At the same time, if your partner is somebody who feels aroused by vision, then yes, you must take care of it too. I won't say completely ignore it, but be aware of one, sex is not on the body anywhere, sex is in the head. So if you are not sexy here, and if your partner does not allow the sex to happen here to begin with, you, whatever you do, it's not going to happen. It's just going to, you're going to fail big time. For a lot of people, how you look, how you smell is important. So I will still insist that be hygienic, you know, take care of how you present yourself. I mean to say neat, clean, tidy, and not anything else. But again, even if you're fat, thin, short, tall, dark, fair, the sex is first going to trigger here. So be sexy, feel sexy, and be attractive, not only the physical way, but every other way to your partner. You won't need so much of shallowness then.
No, I was talking about the times when you end up with a headache and
Yes,
you're
yes,
not
yes,
able to feel
absolutely.
up to it. Other
Absolutely.
times, yes, totally. Unless you feel good about yourself, nobody else is going to feel good about you. So it's important that you dress up well, you go splurge on good lingerie and perfumes and cosmetics to
Brush your
keep looking
teeth.
good. And yes. Simple things, but yes, they do go a long way in keeping that bond going stronger. All right, so I think you've answered all my questions with regard to women and their sexuality. Any last message that you want to tell the women out there? for this Women's
Um,
Day week?
Not particularly, because again, we are all very different from one another. The only thing probably which is common for all of us as a general message I would like to share is, don't listen to everything that internet or articles or we generally talk about sexuality and women. Don't go to either of the extent wherein you say that we are not sexual beings at all, or we are, I'm going to take a sweep or a leap to the other end of the sexuality where I'm just going to become somebody who is absolutely open and, completely. What I mean to say is, don't become so zero about it or don't become so 100 about it. Just be very, very focused and very aware of what your needs are and what you're getting into. Because as I said, sexual energy is not just about orgasms. It has a lot to do with a lot of other aspects of your life, which is emotional, physical. There's a lot that is going to happen to you. So be open to sex just as much as you want it and just as much as you need it. Just because somebody else is doing it, you don't have to, go towards the other extent. Um, Focus on yourself and focus on your partner.
Great. So I'm going to stop this recording now. Uh,